Good evening, everybody. It is March 2nd, 2026. It is 6:01. I'm going to call the Winthrop Town Council meeting to order. We're missing Linda, which I believe is on her way. Aaron is on his way, and I'm not sure where Andy's at, but we got enough of us here to get started, so let's get going. Yep, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. All right, this is a point we're going to open up to public comment. Anybody might have a public comment, please come up to the podium, state your name, and have at it. Not seeing anything online? Great. All right, we'll move on. I was going to start off with items 036, public hearing. The barn at Silver Oaks Estate Special Entertainment Permit Renewal Application. I'm going to open up the discussion at 6:02. This is public discussion, and please state your name.
Hi, good evening. My name is Gene Carbona.
Okay. You're the owner, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You guys have any questions for? Go ahead, Roy.
Are you, any changes from what we had last year?
Nothing has changed. whatsoever.
Same type of events and,
Weddings, proms, other smaller educational events, people like from the hospital that come in and do daytime events during the week, but probably 99% Saturday weddings, Friday night rehearsals.
okay. Have we had any complaints or any issues down there? Nope. Okay.
Every year, the council always asks about fireworks, and the chief just asked me about fireworks, kind of jokingly anyway, but I just wanted to reiterate, we don't do fireworks. Our clients come to us from all over the country, and when they meet with me initially, they ask, hey, is there any availability for fireworks? So we do two things. We push them directly to the town of Winthrop's fireworks ordinance, and we push them to Central Maine Pyrotechnics. That's who we use exclusively, and they follow the ordinance and whatever insurance rules Central Maine Pyrotechnics uses. And we've done that we're starting our 11th season this year. 441 weddings so far. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, great. I'm going to close that public hearing right now at 6:04. I'm going to open up items 037, consideration of special entertainment permit renewal applications for the barn at Silver Oaks Estate.
I'll move to approve special entertainment permit renewal application for the barn at Silver Oaks Estate.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none? All in favor? All are in favor except for Aaron stepped out, so
Thank you, Mr. Carbona.
Thanks, everyone.
thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay, moving on to items 038, public hearing, Harvest Moon Farm LLC Special Entertainment Permit. It's a new application. Open up the public discussion at 6:05.
Hi, I'm Mark Griswold, one of the owners.
Great, welcome.
Thanks.
Anybody have any discussion? Roy, go ahead.
I'll ask you the same questions. Did you have a permit last year, special music permit?
No, this is the first time I've applied for it. I just became aware of it, so
Okay,
yeah.
so, I see no outdoor music allowed after dusk.
Correct.
Loud music in barn would be turned down by 9. You haven't had there's been no issues or anything up there?
No, no complaints.
And what kind of fruit do you have? So you pick farm?
Yeah, I have apples, peaches, I have you pick flowers, I do maple syrup. Yeah,
Cool. Thank you.
thanks.
It's all good. All right, I'm going to close the public session is at 6:06. I'm going to move on to items 039. Consideration of the special entertainment permit, new application for the Harvest Moon Farm LLC. All right, any other comments? Seeing none, nothing online. All in favor? All present or in favor? Right. Moving on to items 040, consideration of funding the Winthrop Lakes Region Chamber of Commerce on July 3rd fireworks celebration. Open up I guess we're just going to be, there's a public discussion, right?
Yes, it is, but there were no representatives available this evening from the chamber, and so they've asked that we move that to the March 16th meeting.
I did see that.
So
mentioned.
that's something we might just be able to table.
I may move that we table this item.
Second.
Table, all in favor? All are in favor? All that are present are in favor.
I'd like to hear from them.
Great, thank you. And move on to items 041, discussion and exploring establishment of a public safety answering point, PSAP, within the Winthrop Dispatch.
So if I may, Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
please. It's the floor is yours.
Tonight, we're not looking for any sort of decision at all. We just want to know what your interest is in exploring this idea before we invest any time or effort into it. For those of you who don't know, PSAP stands for Public Safety Answering Point. And in the state of Maine, there's sort of a convoluted system for when someone calls 911. So if one of you were to call 911 from within our community, that call is not actually answered by Winthrop Dispatch. It actually goes to the PSAP in Androscoggin County. And then determining upon the nature of that call and what's needed, then they will forward that to the appropriate dispatching agency. In our case, it'd be Winthrop Dispatch. And so we've talked internally a little bit, and we have our dispatch supervisor here, Bill Sullivan, along with Chief Ferlin and Lieutenant Hammond, just about if at some point we want to consider having our own PSAP, simply because it would provide some sort of long-term stability and control. Previously, we got that service from Somerset County, and at a certain point, Somerset County said, we really can't do this any longer. And fortunately, dispatchers at all times when you are a PSAP on duty, those dispatchers require additional training and licensure. And as a result of that, you end up paying them more money as well. But we do think a lot of the communities that we currently provide dispatching services with might be interested in, if we were to start a PSAP, into using our PSAP just for the synergy of being able to contract for all of their dispatching needs with one agency, as opposed to having to perhaps contract with as many as 3 agencies. So with that, I don't know if there's anything that Chief Ferlin would like to add to that introduction.
I brought it up to the town manager because the concern is with the communications upgrade and the money we're getting to upgrade our services. If we're going to look at doing it, now would be the ideal time to do it, because once we upgrade and move our 3 dispatch desks into that patrol room, and then we decide to go to become a PSAP, then we have to relocate because we don't have enough room in that building to house a public safety answering point. So it kind of makes sense that if it's something that we want to explore, then we should explore it now and not a year from now, because then we're going to have added costs of moving the brand new equipment that we're going to be installing down at the PD.
What the issues were years ago, because we were a PSAP, we had a PSAP here, I thought, and then we moved it. I don't know if it was staffing or what the issues were, but the cost, I can't.
The issue is that there was a drive on to reduce the number of communication centers within Kennebec County. And that fell flat on its face.
Well, we don't know that. So that's part of the exploratory process. And one of the things that the chief and I have talked about is, if you folks are interested in that, and depending upon the details, and that's where the devil is, right? It could also give us an opportunity to move the entire police department to some sort of new facility, so we're not continually reinvesting in a 200-plus-year-old building that really isn't great for a high-tech operation like a police department is.
I'm going to be an easy sell on this one. I've had some rather unfortunate experiences calling out-of-town dispatch centers for emergencies while I was in business. And nothing would suit me better than to dial 911 and get our local dispatch center.
Thank you, Andy. Zach?
Are we paying Androscoggin at all for, like, we do?
We do.
Okay. All right, yeah.
Chief, do you remember the value of that contract?
It's 31,000
I was
this
thinking it
year.
was 30-ish thousand.
And then if we had it, we could charge other people too?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah. Every community has to contract with a PSAP unless they have one of their own. And so, yeah, for the town of Wayne, for instance, contracts with Androscoggin as well. So,
All right, cool. No, that's good to know. So yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in seeing some cost breakdowns for what we're paying, what maybe we could get, and then what it would cost to get 2 employees full time. So
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'd definitely be interested in it. It's something I've discussed a few times with a few people. Where do we stand with the combining of the Winthrop and Monmouth police departments? Because that may be something that we have the whole discussion all together, and especially when it comes to the financial piece of it, if we're going to be one department. And I would be interested in looking at this as a scenario where we're doing the work. We don't want to do the heavy lifting on the financial piece of it. The other communities that we are going to contract out to, we should make sure that we charge a fair rate so that we're not subsidizing the other communities like we have been before in the state ambulance and some of the other programs that we use include other communities.
Yes. So Chief,
To answer your first question, March 10th at 5:30, we have a public meeting in Monmouth to discuss whether the town folk have a chance to come in and talk to us, ask questions about the consolidation.
Okay.
So that's on March 10th. I think with Anthony's leadership, in the past couple of years, what we've seen is the move to charge the fees appropriately to the communities, so we aren't subsidizing dispatch services like we have in the past.
Yeah.
So and to that point, Roy, and I was going to touch on this in my town manager report, but what the heck, let's talk about it now. We met, Shannon, was that just last week, the ambulance advisory group? Yeah. So we just met last week with the ambulance advisory group. We shared with them the fee schedule for the upcoming year, and we talked about the other communities' investment in our capital needs at the ambulance station. And I was really encouraged by that conversation because everyone was willing to do that. Again, the devil will be in the detail. And so we've been working with Chief Moretto, Nick, and I to come up with a plan that we're going to present next week to that group again and start getting their ideas about how we can massage it. So again, I was just really encouraged that they're willing, they understand the need and are willing to contribute to our capital needs for the services that they access.
Yeah, I just want to be assured that we aren't doing all the heavy lifting as a community.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the other communities.
Agreed. And I think once we get the bids in on the radio communications upgrade, then we can parse out, the parts of that project that other communities are going to benefit from and what the cost to them will be for that.
Thank you, Chief, for all the information. And it shouldn't be a surprise that I in favor of this because before, when we looked at the public safety building and everything else, I was opposed to even upgrading that facility as it is right now. But I think this is an opportunity. I think we have the right people in place to be able to make this happen in a responsible way for the taxpayers and for the citizens. And I think it's overdue. We know that that facility that currently houses the dispatch and the police department has struggled to maintain just a normal operating function, even, especially during critical times, whether it's weather or accidents to the infrastructure, stuff like that. So I think it's an opportunity to invest in a service that is going to be only, I think, in need or in more demand moving forward. So I think that that's an important piece. And I think also, once we have it in place, it'll be something that we'll be able to tap into funding mechanisms, whether it's the federal government, state government moving forward, because we will then make ourselves a resource hub for this area, and it's desperately needed. I know if you talk to other communities that rely on the PSAPs that are available now, it's a struggle. So I don't think it would be much of a sell if we developed our own.
My biggest concern is Androscoggin comes to us on July 1st and say, we can provide this service for another year and that's it. Then where are we at? I mean, there are no other agencies that can take us on right now.
Just add one thing is, where I work, in urgent care, when we initiate a 911 response, it's not uncommon for us to be, for our calls to go to Holton. And that can be, kind of tricky when they're looking at details and getting everything what you need in a timely fashion. So it's a strained system when that's happening. It's not even going to Augusta, it's going to Holton, then getting transferred to the local answering point. So.
And I will say the fire chiefs that we serve right now with our dispatching services, everyone is really pleased with the level of service that they get from Winthrop Dispatch. And so I think, as some of you have mentioned, I think for some communities it'd be an easy sell simply because they already know the quality of the work and the service that we provide.
So I just want to say thank you very much for bringing this to the council. I also am very interested in establishing a PSAP or public safety point here in Winthrop. As most of you know, I am the town manager in the town of Wayne, and as we've been working through the whole budget and understanding how the systems work, I understand that we do have Androscoggin as PSAP. We go through Winthrop for our ambulance and fire dispatch. So it just kind of seems like certain things all kind of seem very convoluted. We have a rural dispatch through Kennebec County, and we get a separate bill for that. And then that's also going on its own different PSAP this year. So our budget in Wayne is doubling. And then also with that, so between Androscoggin County, between Winthrop Ambulance and Fire, between Kennebec County rural patrols and their own separate PSAP, we have, and then we get also the county appropriation, which is a whole nother bill. So when we start looking at all those different bills, it just seems very convoluted. And I feel like Winthrop provides kind of a hub. Like Anthony said when we met on Thursday, it was very encouraging hearing the communities that sit there and say that Winthrop has provided an excellent service to those communities. And I agree. And when you think about it, and we've talked about regionalization a little bit here. So I think that it could be a first step. If we were to look at potentially expanding the police department, what other neighboring towns could we do? We currently already serve 7 communities. If we could incorporate all of those, it might be good to start looking at expanding the police department. If we could find a facility that would accommodate something like that and then put out a good share to all of the communities, I think that it would be beneficial.
Yeah, to that point, we've already had one community approach us who wanted to make use of our dispatch, and we just didn't have the bandwidth to do it. But I think this would provide us some opportunities beyond those 7 communities that you mentioned.
So I'm in favor of exploring this. I do have one question, which is kind of asking the question was, I know, Chief, you're probably not going to be around forever. I'm sure the gentleman that's running the dispatch center is probably not going to be around forever. And how are we staffed now? Do we feel as though we're having a hard time getting staff to cover dispatch, or is this going to be a strain on us? I'm just kind of being devil's advocate here. Where are we going to be live with this as we grow it and we want to have more people
A great question, because there are a lot of dispatch centers that are experiencing that problem. That's one of the reasons why Central Maine Communications is off the table, because they're at like a 50% staffing level. I think if you provide the right equipment, the right hourly wage, and the benefit package to go along with the extra responsibility of becoming a PSAP, I think we'll do just fine. We have one gentleman right now we're training up. He's lieutenant for the Manchester Fire Department and Richmond Fire Department. He's come on board and he's training as a reserve dispatcher, in hopes that if we have an opening in the near future, that he'll be trained and slide right into that. So it's kind of working towards the end result that we don't know what it's going to be as of yet.
Yeah, no, thank you. It helps. And I think it's great, because I just do think it's a big part of bringing in that regionalization, which I've been a favor of us trying to do it with, many departments that we have within our town. So I think it's a great start, and I'd like to hear a little more about it and to see what you guys can pull together for some numbers and kind of present it to us that way.
And I think one of the things that makes the Winthrop Police Department and Winthrop Dispatch a good place to work is just the culture that
Yeah, I agree.
both Chief Erlin, Bill, and Lieutenant Hammond have built over there. So as long as we maintain that culture, I think we'll be okay when it comes to recruiting new talent.
Dispatcher.
Thank you.
So Chief Erlin, now later this week will begin drawing up a game plan for how we're going to do this exploration.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'll stay right here because I think I'm.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
We're going to close the discussion on that item right now at 6:24. Going to open up another item, 042, discussion and consideration of replacing the police chief's cruiser.
Call on me.
Chief, floor is yours.
As of today, we had a second opinion done on that car, and based on the second opinion, that we're going to be fine. We're not going to need to replace it. We're going to have the work done at a reduced cost than what we were initially told. So
That sounds great. Thank you.
yes, it does.
Kudos to Counselor Weymouth, who was that second opinion. And as I told him, I thought we had him around for his charm and good looks, and turns out he's actually useful every now and again.
Skill set. Thank you, everybody. All right, so let's close the discussion on that at 6:25. All right, moving on to items 043, discussion and consideration of updating the transfer station user fees. So let's call up.
All right, so
I
I know we're
Kevin to come up to the podium.
yeah, he'll be up here, but
All right.
just an
I'll
opening
let you take over.
statement. So a lot of times when I do this work, I have other sets of eyeballs on it before I send it out to you guys. For this, one of the sets of eyeballs was our town clerk. And after she looked at it, she made this comment that I wrote down. She said, taxes should cover baseline municipal services, and end users should bear the cost of anything beyond that. And I think that's exactly right, that our taxes are meant to support, for the most part, municipal services that everyone benefits in some form or fashion. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about very specialized services at the transfer station, and ensuring that the users of those specialized services are bearing most of the cost, not all of the cost, but most of the cost in order to relieve the pressure on property taxpayers. So it is important to note that a lot of the fees before you tonight have not been updated since 2012. Obviously, operating costs have increased since then. And we're talking about not the trash that people throw into the hopper, their household trash, but things like demolition waste or things with Freon in them or sofas or mattresses and so forth. And so what we're hoping to do is just improve that cost recovery in order to reduce the amount of tax subsidy that the transfer station needs. So right now, I sent you the FY20, the first draft of the FY27 budget on Friday. And right now we have those transfer station fees budgeted at $180,000. If we were to increase these fees, and we did some analysis of this using artificial intelligence, we reasonably believe that we could generate another $40,000 to $45,000, again, to offset the cost, the operating cost of the facility. We also looked at some data that was collected by KV-COG from 20 transfer stations across the region. And so what we're trying to do is just make sure that our fees are competitive, that, and this is important, that we avoid out-of-town contractors in particular of coming to our transfer station, either because it's cheaper, it's more convenient, or both. They will always tell you, oh, well, this came from Winthrop. How do we know? You know? And so, and again, we want to align our rates with neighboring communities. So one of the biggest changes is increasing the cost of the demolition waste from $140 per ton to $200 per ton. And that falls within about the midpoint of the KV-COG survey. We would also apply that rate to commercial waste, yard waste, and to commercial haulers who currently pay no fees. And again, you know, they will tell you that, well, I collected this trash in Winthrop. Again, we have no way of knowing that. And when I was engaged in these discussions at KV-COG, a transfer station manager from another community said that their stance is that once a commercial hauler picks up someone's trash, it's no longer residential trash. It then becomes commercial waste because they're a commercial business. That trash then at that point belongs to them. And obviously some of those businesses are going to pass on the cost to their customer. But when you're talking about $200 for a ton of waste, I mean, you know, the cost to their end user should be fairly minimal as well. But our goal is just to prevent taxpayers from subsidizing that service.
$200 for a ton of waste, that does not include house.
No. So what you throw into the hopper, Roy?
Most of the people picking up trash as a business for individuals are picking up household trash.
And that's true. And that's true. And
Will there be a charge for that?
That is part of our recommendation is that there's a charge for commercial haulers as well, because they're engaged in a commercial activity as opposed to.
Commercial haulers for household trash.
It is. But again, we don't know where that trash is coming from.
I understand that piece of it.
Yeah.
You talked about the $200 a ton and we're not charging anything for regular household.
When I say that we're not charging commercial haulers, what I mean is in a lot of communities, they charge the commercial hauler either an annual fee or if they have a scale based upon the weight. But currently we're not doing that. In my opinion, I think that we should be charging something. They're making money off of this. And again, we have no guarantees as to where this trash is coming from.
Right. I'm talking about the commercial haulers hauling residential trash, which if the individual brings their residential trash in, there's no fee. So.
For a sticker.
Sticker's 20.
Yeah, sticker.
$20.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's just that for the year or whatever. But so there's no fee per weight, per bag of trash, per whatever. Whereas the commercial guy's hauling it in, That's what we're proposing is.
Well, that's one part of the proposal. It's, but it's a little broader than that.
Hold on a second. I just want to make sure that you're done with your
I am.
piece of it. Okay, I'm going to give Kevin a chance to speak, and then I'll bring it back here to these guys. Go ahead, Kevin.
What's your question?
I don't have a question. Do you have anything to say on your behalf of any of this, just before we get going? Or are you ready to field
Nope.
questions?
Yeah, I'll take questions.
All right, Well, I'll go ahead, Andy. I'll start with you and I'll come back to you.
It's I think Roy's gotten at this, and it's the same thing I said last time. It's a bit of a conundrum. You know, if I take my trash to the dump, I don't pay anything except for my annual ticket, you know, my dump sticker. And if I give my trash to, say, Bill Worthing, then he's going to have to pay to dump it. And I agree with Anthony, it's very difficult to tell whether someone's cheating. And hauling trash from Manchester or Green, that's a conundrum. I don't like the idea of charging our residents. Our residents going to end up paying more to the people they're paying to haul their trash if the dump fees go up. So I don't, it's a conundrum. I don't have a resolution for it at the minute.
Roy, go ahead.
What, I see transfer station fees as, and I understand we want to cover our costs. Two questions. What are our costs? What does it cost us per ton to get rid of it? And also, we're charging, this proposal is to charge separate fees for mattresses, box springs, sofas, stuffed chairs. Where does all that stuff go?
Right now, it goes in the demo. Presently, you pay $98 a ton for demo. It's going to go up over 200, and that's probably going to happen as of Wednesday.
Yeah, so when you say 98, Kevin, you're talking about the tipping fee.
cost.
Cost, yeah.
Just the
Yeah,
tipping.
that's what I'm asking for.
That's not the trucking cost. That's not the labor cost. That's not anything else. That's not the building, the lights, not anything. That's just how much we pay them to take it.
Yeah, and I understand that the labor costs something, the building costs something, but this is also paid for by taxpayers. The attendants are there anyway, dealing with household trash. There's a certain service that taxpayers get for their taxes.
And I
This is,
yeah,
I see all those inherent costs as part of that when somebody gets a tax bill, that piece of it, the moving components, the attendant standing there working, the building, all that stuff as part of their what they're paying for with their tax bill. And as far as this stuff, these proposed amounts, I would say I would want to cover our costs. I think that's my opinion. I would want to see it cover our costs.
So if you were to adopt this proposal as is, it would cover 36% of the cost of the transfer station.
Yeah, but that's,
So in other words, the vast majority of the operation is still being funded by taxpayers. But what we're trying to do is shift the burden a little bit from taxpayers to end users.
tell me more about this price going up, and also tell me about where the mattresses, the box springs, the sofas are going.
Presently, they go in demo.
Okay.
Okay, and they're
Is
a
that
bulky item.
intending to change?
Nope, they're still gonna have to go in demo. That's where they go. But
Okay.
they're a bulky item that cost us more because we end up taking up more space. You put 5 mattresses in that thing, you don't put a lot of weight, but you're still trucking it back and forth. Right? So you're not getting your money's worth out of it. So without getting too in-depth in it,
I know what you're saying.
you pay
You're
$7
paying for
for
volume and not weight.
let's use the household trash as an example. You're paying $7 for the tag for a year, and you pay for your taxes for it. How many tons do you think you dump a year at? We pay $89.16 a ton to dump it.
But it's a service offered
I
by
get
the
it.
town.
I get it.
I understand what you're saying, but at some point I look at it as a service for the taxpayers or a service the taxpayers are paying on top of their taxes. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you're essentially
Yeah, but I
nailing this
disagree
every
with that.
time.
Yeah,
Okay.
But I know what you're saying. You're saying you're nailing them for the people that are using it.
that's
Or-
correct.
yeah.
That's correct. So if you never dump any demolition waste, let's say Linda never dumps any demolition waste there. Why would she be subsidizing the disposal of demolition waste? But she is. And so what, and again, same thing with the commercial haulers with demolition, like with a contractor. We have no idea where that demolition waste is coming
It's
from.
not if we're charging a cost that covers our cost for demolition waste.
Yes, that's
Not
what,
covering anything.
that's what we're trying to approach.
I have no problem with the commercial rates going up. No problem at all because of, we don't know where it's going. And they'll just pass that cost on. So I don't
Yeah, so I'm just trying to understand, maybe I'm missing something. This is for all demo, right? So if I fill my truck up and with a mattress, I'm
Mhm.
paying, okay.
Mhm.
So with this commercial, like any company that's gonna bring a trailer, clear out a home that's, going out, they can drive their R down, throw it in there, claim it's in Winthrop. So this would impact them as well. Is that the purpose here? Because I know you were saying like an annual fee and stuff, but we're not looking to do anything like that here.
Well, when I mentioned an annual fee, Zach, I was talking about the commercial haulers in particular, the people who go to people's homes and pick up their trash. You don't want to have to go to the transfer station. I mean, our recommendation is that we just charge them the same price that we would charge any other commercial business for disposing of trash. If the council's not comfortable with that, then I would ask the council to at least consider some sort of an annual permit fee for commercial haulers to use our facility.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at is if let's say you take out all these itemized stuff, you make it go 200 and then you charge that fee, that's kind of where my head was at, somewhere in between. I'm just wondering, like how many, I guess they just pull up, right? They just say they got a queen size bed and they'll throw it away, right? So, and then whoever's there just keeps track, right? So, okay. I see no issue. So yeah, I'm okay with it.
Just a question, how do you determine a commercial user versus a residential user right now?
Well, again, if they have a sticker on their vehicle, it's usually a residential user. Right.
It's-
Right. So I'll give you, for instance, there was a large quantity of demo that came in recently, that came in, from what I was told, in town from an out-of-town hauler. There was nothing I could do about it because it's from somebody in town. It was all demo. They're paying for the demo, but they were paying nowhere near what it was costing us to get rid of.
So right now, if an out-of-town commercial user brings demolition there, that's something that's allowed, or there's just no mechanism?
There's no mechanism,
Okay.
paying per ton.
So how would we move forward with being able to differentiate the commercial use versus a residential use as far as when they drive in? Other than we're just going to up the fee and capture it all? Is that what the idea is?
Well, I think that's what Anthony was getting to.
Well, and so you're talking about demolition waste in particular, Aaron?
Because that's what worries me the most is like what he just said.
Well,
Someone-
but consider it on scale. So a commercial hauler is going to come in, he's probably going to have a lot of stuff. A resident's going to come in and they're going to have whatever they can fit in the back of a pickup truck. Or a trailer. Or
She uses it, I let her.
or a trailer. But that's not going to have nearly the weight or the bulk or the mass that a commercial contractor is going to be bringing in. It's going to be on a much smaller scale. And so I wouldn't think about, like, it may be unusual for someone to bring in a resident to bring in a load that is 1 ton versus that would not be typically unusual of a building contractor.
There's not going to be a way to, but I mean, I guess what I'm trying to get at is if you have a commercial outfit that comes in there, like the dump guys or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and you see them come in, is there, what do you do when you're at the transfer station right now?
You're talking about right now. Okay, well, and Kevin, please correct me if I'm wrong, but they drive across the scale and then they are charged $140 per ton.
And then what will they do if we change this.
They'll drive across the scale and they'll get charged $200 per ton.
Yeah, this is the same thing. I was saying what I think you're going at is like how
No
do
way
you
to do
do you just up the tonnage to 200, forget all these items, and then charge an annual fee to a commercial?
Because you'd have to stop every car coming in there, make a
We have to-
determination.
We have to now for demo,
You do.
right? They scaled.
Well, the scale, that's
Right.
assuming they do, right? Okay, yeah, I'm good.
Good. So Andy and.
Now, first thing to consider here is, I think we had this conversation. Good night, Bill. Thanks for all your hard work. We had this conversation many years ago, and one of the concerns expressed was that people would not take things to the dump. They just go up the nearest dead end road. So we just sort of need to be aware that we don't want to encourage that with rising fees. I'm not saying don't raise the fees. Okay, well, yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. It's still smelly garbage or 2x4s with nails in it. The other thing though is, I think the term used by Roy was permit, or was it Zach? But I was thinking licensing, local haulers. Then if they only want to haul household trash from Winthrop residents, they get a license. And if they get caught once, they're out for good and forever.
So I want, if I may, I want to clarify, Zach, just to make sure that we're talking about the same thing.
Well, yeah.
So what we are proposing is if you're remodeling your kitchen and you have all your cabinets that you took out of your house and you drive across the scale, you'd pay $200 for that demolition waste. However, if you brought a sofa, a refrigerator, a mattress, that would just be charged for that particular item as opposed to the weight. Okay, I just want to make sure we were talking.
Yeah, what I was trying to figure out was because we were talking about like the commercial stuff, right? And so this doesn't differentiate between the commercial versus a residential. What I was kind of proposing.
Demolition waste, that's correct.
Yes. And so what I was kind of thinking was, do we just instead of charging the itemized stuff, right? I think there is a warranted case to up the tonnage amount just in general. I think seeing some of the stats from KV Cog, it looks like we're under. So bringing that up to a bigger baseline, I think is good. So we're not incurring all the costs to the taxpayers in general. But then charging another annual fee to kind of make the numbers meet. So maybe we don't have to rate it to 200 if we're charging some of these commercial places annual fees to use it. And that covers these big amounts, right? Instead of charging them a 200 ton, they have to pay an annual fee if they want to be part of it, or maybe they won't, right? And then they just won't come. And then we're not hitting the regular tax residents, that way. So.
Well, I do think though that so let's talk about, let's talk about the, like a building contractor who's bringing his demolition waste versus a commercial hauler. So the building contractor is going to pass along that cost to his customer, and it's going to be negligible in the whole scheme of whatever that project is. And again, the margins, I'm sure, much smaller for a commercial residential trash hauler. And so that's why, if you guys want to do something different with that, I think there are some other options.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to figure out, your argument is let's just charge it all and then it covers everything and we don't have to worry about all the paperwork of and sticker, everything else that comes with that. So yeah, no, I get it now.
Gonna be going up to 200.
Correct. So there's a Mid-Maine Waste has meetings, and they have a meeting on Wednesday to go over it again. But I have a friend of mine that sits on the council, and he's told me that it's going up over 100 already. So it's going up.
So if we're, I would like to see how far, if it's going way up, I'd like to see how far it is before we set any.
Kevin, do you recall how much it's going up? Because I don't think it was 200, but
No.
I thought that's what you just said.
It's going up over 100. They don't know what the number is. They won't know that till after Wednesday when they meet again.
I thought you had said 200.
We set it on 200 because when I looked at the numbers and when I looked at what it cost us to truck it and our manpower and our time, that didn't include the infrastructure. And I realized I said that earlier, but that was a misnomer. I didn't mean the lights and all that stuff. That's covered under the taxes. But the material handling that we do. is expensive.
You still crush the dumpsters down before
We
you sell
do.
them?
Yep. Yep.
And I just look at $25, kind of to Andy's point, $25 for a box spring or a sofa without a bed, $25 getting rid of it versus, somebody just dumping it on some side of the road. I mean, $25, a couple whacks with a backhoe and the thing's flat. So if
Well,
we're,
but that's not the case, right? So I don't know what it is, but for some reason, everybody in this town changes their mattress every year. It seems like.
You get used a lot.
Probably don't want to go there.
You know what I mean? We get a lot of mattresses. And I don't know why, but they're bulky and they take up a lot of space and you can crush them down all you want.
Yeah,
and All they do
mattresses
is go
go
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. So, anything else from anybody else?
I mean, are we looking to do something with this right
I've
now?
got a few things I would.
Yeah, well, I guess my one thought here, I'm kind of with Roy. I don't mind the tonnage going up. I don't mind the mattresses maybe being a line item. Some of this other stuff, maybe not the pumping down the units from the refrigerant and stuff, but I think that I think it's a happy medium we could probably come to here with some of these, but yeah. So you can go now. Yeah, you're okay.
All right. Well, thanks for coming up and you guys pulling this stuff together. I guess my couple of things I have to comment on is I like either it's a yearly fee for the folks that are hauling commercially. They're hauling residential trash.
Okay.
Well, that comes off because they're hauling demo anyway. And I think that should be charged because especially if they're an out of town business, they're passing it on to their customer anyway. And they're dumping it. So, but I'd like to cover that cost, but I'm talking about the gentlemen that go around that collect trash. Okay. Your residential trash. So you're paying $3 a week, or I don't even know what it was, but I think I had a service at one time when I didn't have a truck and I had somebody just come and haul it for $3 a week and they're out of town. And again, to your point, I don't know if it's all from this town, but I don't know what they pay. So I never got involved in it. I never really sought it out, and they're very nice gentlemen, and I'm not trying to put them out of business, but I think it's having a sticker, having them paying an annual sticker to know that they can use our station to dump that because they've paid for that service to do so. And I don't think it should be at $20, and you can tell by the registration of their vehicle when you give them a sticker what town they live in. But I just think that's residential. The demo, I think it needs to kind of go up if everything else is going up, and I know it's costing more to drive more to haul it. My question about the mattresses, box springs, sofas and all that stuff, I get having an individual cost on it, but I'm that guy that loads up his truck or loads up his trailer with everything, right? And how much confusion is it going to be offloading that sofa and then going back and weighing the demo and then coming back around and doing it again, paying for each, because they're not going to want to pay for the weight of that sofa until they get rid of the demo or get rid of the sofa, right? So we don't have a very great system of going in and out and around and back, in and out and around and back. So I understand probably why somebody before me decided it's just going to charge us demo because it's going to make it really easy, just charge us demo because it's on their trailer, right? So I understand breaking it down because I do say, hey, you set all the mattresses over here and we'll stack them in a container later, and then we'll get our biggest bang for our buck or however you're going to do it. But I fear that it's going to cause things to be more man hours and congestion of trying to break it down. I think if you're going to try to offset it, maybe just up that demo, call it a day. My last thing would be the reclaiming of who reclaims the Freon for us down there, Kevin?
IRRC, I'll have to come up with a name, but
Yeah.
they upped their rates by 50 cents as of August.
Yeah.
So it cost us $9 a unit.
Yeah, no, I think we should definitely some of these things I
And
see
that's
make
what's
sense.
handling them for.
Some of these things are just kind of a no-brainer because everything has gone up in cost, right? So we have to pass that cost on because it's not normal household trash. So those are my quick thoughts. But Linda, I guess you got something now? No, it's not the demo. It's the rubbish. And I don't know the company's name that are out there collecting it, but they come to your house and they collect just your bag of trash. That's what I think it should be, an annual fee. Because you see them, because they're the biggest trucks out there, and well, they're charging the customers to pick it up, right? No, no, this is something, we don't charge anything because it's house.
No.
That's so it's for the household
That's why
trash
it's costing
only.
So much.
Just because to your point, they're commercial. And I don't know if they're picking up in Reed Field, Monmouth.
I would also like
Manchester.
to try to assure or be assured that it's Winthrop trash we're dealing with.
Yes.
It's just, if it's just an annual fee.
No, you're right, Roy.
People not paying per pound or whatever, then.
Yeah, they're not paying for anything.
They're not paying anything, right?
Not paying anything.
Don't pay anything right now. And
Just
Shannon, go ahead.
two quick things. In May of 2024, we did change some of our rates. So tires had already increased up to $5 each and $10 with rims. And then we had a commercial disposal of brush increase. How has that been enforced? I mean, is that the same thing? Because that's also working with commercial haulers that are bringing in waste. Is
Yep,
that
so they
identified?
Over the scale and they get charged per ton.
Okay. And then the other thing I would like to have looked at, if possible, when we're talking about the sofas and the couches, it has $25, $35. But then down below for fridges, it's only $5 for a refrigerator. Don't we have to pay a service to have Freon and things taken out of that? So I would expect that fridges and freezers would be more than $5, $10, or $15 in contrast to $25 or $35 for a sofa that could get broken down.
I think probably, I'll just
metal,
jump in real quick
metal.
on that. I think part of it is they reclaim, like, that's what I asked about reclaiming their Freon. If that
Yeah.
cost is going up, recover that, but then becomes a piece of metal.
Right.
So then we get money for it.
Yeah, because
So we wouldn't want to go too hard on people on that because again, I think everybody's saying, we don't want to see fridges and freezers all lopped around everywhere and chief has to go to every call because somebody's dumped a bunch of crap everywhere. But I think if we keep it minimum, people will bring it and dump it and then we just crush it up for metal and we get paid for that. But I think that if the Freon's going up, we want to get covered for that.
yeah, I guess that they just come with their pumps and they just pump it on site and then we just scrap the metal, or do we give them the whole
Yeah,
unit?
so we have to line them up by size and by kind.
Yeah.
And then they come and they pump them off, and then we have to put them in the can, crush them down and get rid of them. So we handle them a couple of times.
Yeah, but we get
We'll
the
do
scrap.
about
money.
25 at a time.
We,
Yeah.
we can scrap them though. We get the scrap money.
We get some
Okay,
money.
it's minimal, but yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Thank you.
That was a good point though about I was wondering how that worked for the brush because I think we changed that because the brush you can bring for nothing. But if you're bringing it as a commercial, we wanted to make sure that we weren't getting everybody's brush.
Right. I believe it's by
There's
I believe it's by the ton.
It's by the load. So
by
bulk
the
truck
load.
is
Okay.
$40 per load, dump trailer, 25 per
That's
load, and a
nice.
small 1-ton, $15 per load.
So, say I have a dump trailer, but I'm cutting brush from my property and I bring it in, am I still paying the 25?
No,
No, not for
not
residential.
as a residential person, but if you're a commercial,
How do you determine
generally they got a truck with then lettering on
Right.
it.
Well, and the vehicle is sort of the giveaway because if they're driving a 1-ton, it's not a,
I have a one-time.
okay, well, we're going to charge
Say
you.
Aaron's large yard service on it.
There's no way, there's nothing on it.
Well, plus you're supposed to have, if you're residential, you're supposed to have a dump sticker. So if you have a dump sticker and you live in town and you have a dump trailer.
That's a good point.
Right.
So basically, okay.
And again, I would be concerned about stacking mattresses up till you have a bunch of them, because as soon as it rains, you're paying 5 times more money for those mattresses.
Yeah, I didn't know
than
how,
you're making.
yeah, it wasn't really, I didn't know how you were going to handle it. I didn't know, but I just feel as though it's, like I said, I'm that guy that loads up a trailer with everything he's got in his yard
Doing that, you're close, make 2 trips.
and he's trying to get rid of it all in one shot. So it's just unload it here because I don't want to pay for the weight and pay for the fee. So I'll dump it here. They come back around. Yeah.
Do the same thing, Jim. I go around 2-3 times sometimes at the dump.
Anyway, thank you.
And one thing I did find out, the scale is only accurate to a certain point. So if you have a piece of wood on your truck less than 20 pounds, you're good to go.
So what do you guys want to do here? Because it's for discussion, but I see there's a suggested motion as well. So
Okay, adopting these fees. Consideration.
yeah, and just, did you guys want to chew on it, or do you want to table, come back with something, other suggestions, or go ahead, Aaron?
Well, one of the things, now I was going to bring it up later, is I'm super concerned about the energy costs getting out of hand here shortly with our disposal or having to truck this stuff. We might have to think about what that's going to mean depending on how long that disruption is going to last. But I do think this is clearly necessary, but we just might need to keep revisiting this maybe on a little bit more regular basis as far as process goes to see how it's working.
Yeah.
Should be thinking anything we do moving forward.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, the only thing I have is maybe the logistics of the mattress and going around. So, if it causes a bunch of issues, maybe you just let us know if it's like causing, but that's the only thing I could think would be a big problem was like traffic and people running in. So I'm in support of it. So
I'd like to see one amount charged for, if it's all going in the demo bin, I'd like to see one amount charged for all the demo, because it is a pain in the neck to do exactly what Jim says. I've been there myself many times.
Oh, 3, 4, 5. Wait.
I usually drop it on the neighbor's yard. Just kidding.
So I'll open it up to anybody with you.
Like I said, I'm okay with what they've proposed here, so you guys figure out.
I'm okay with everything except, as Roy says, breaking down the demo. And, okay.
How much of a fee would you think would be adequate to capture the true costs of sending it where it goes?
I don't know, I would think if we had upped, what would you think to cover the cost if we upped to, say, 205 a ton for everything, and you don't have to separate the mattresses and I could do a more in-depth look at that. I mean, that, I would be more.
I think that's more valuable. I really do, because I think just listening to the panel here, there's probably more people like me out there that are doing something that's.
I get worried about people having to.
But I would rather have see the cost go up that one flat fee, just so it's not so, the person in the scale house, she's, okay, how many mattresses you have, or how many, and somebody just threw it on there, now you're dealing with the demo. If you just get that one weight and then go with it. But again, I'm not down there every day, so I can't
I
speak
do
toward
get
it.
worried about people having to go back out, and Paul can probably attest to this too. Over the years, we've seen some nasty car accidents right there. So if you're going out and you have to get back around to get, especially if you have a big trailer, to get weighed again, it's very awkward. You have to go out and some people just like jump a Yui in the middle of 202 and you're like, wow.
So if I heard you correctly, Roy, and maybe you as well, Jim, what you're saying is you'd rather see something that is north of 200 and then get rid of the individual
North of
fees
200.
for.
I wouldn't be interested in.
Just thinking of the staff,
50 or anything.
just thinking of
I get it.
thinking of the staff down there, what they've got to deal with, and that somebody doesn't know any better, or doesn't know that change has happened. This will be a lot smoother.
Well, it will be simpler.
Yeah, because then they're not trying to deal with and I get the individual piece of it. I totally understand it. And maybe we should try one, something, but I don't know as if doing all of it, because I think.
Do you really feel like arguing between a small sofa and a stuffed chair?
Well,
It's like I'm not down there,
and-
so
and
I don't
again,
care.
If you've spent any time there, you'll understand that some of the stuff I see makes me tilt my head, right?
I understand
Because you'll see
completely.
people come in and they'll put the demo underneath their bags of trash so that when nobody's looking, they can just throw it in the hopper with the trash because they don't want to have to pay for it.
You'd still have to pay that.
So now you're paying for that.
yeah, I just did a little math. It's not good, but it's okay. It's okay. But a mattress is like 100 pounds, and so if you take that divided by like a ton, it ends up being like 210 kind of covers the mattress cost, and we just set it there, and that's just quick math, but.
No. Would we be able
Can we
to track
adopt
those
this
people
next
from
week?
that
While I
mattress
go to the
bag?
dump. So,
They sent all the mattresses.
So Roy,
I don't doubt it.
did I hear you correctly? Did you say like 250 would be sort of your limit?
You did not.
Oh, what did I say?
Said up slightly, nothing like 250 or
Oh,
anything.
nothing like 250.
Yes.
Well, how would you feel about
205. I mean, you're
oh, 205?
$5 for every ton that goes in.
Again.
How many,
here's
I
the
mean,
problem.
that would be essentially
you said, but 210.
210.
210's, it covers it and it's,
Oh, you think 210 is the,
Well, it covers a maximum, the weight of the
mattress per
mattress.
ton.
The extra 10 covers that ton.
Yeah.
Because the mattress is like 5% of what a ton. The math behind that. 210 would be pay for the mattress over the top of it, right? So if you, that was my logic there.
yeah. We'll make up on the other side of it.
Don't,
Most of the stuff is covered right now.
well, that's, I mean,
It'd separate out a mattress, I suppose, compared to the rest of the stuff.
Mattress is the easier one.
If it came down to it, I would agree with that.
I understand the basic cost and then going through and separating things out for shipping purposes. So that way, all the mattresses are set aside, and then you can take those all in one shipment, and you can put as many mattresses into the trailer as possible with other things versus having a mattress tossed in on top of chairs, tossed in on top of stuff, which then gets compacted down when they try to do it, but it's not as easily compacted.
You're correct. You're correct, Shannon, except you've stacked these mattresses up on a Monday and it rains on Tuesday and Wednesday or snows. And now those mattresses that you could lift up by yourself, 3 of you can't lift up together. And you're paying by weight.
We can't stand them up on a wall or anything
You can
inside
Put them,
somewhere.
we don't have any inside storage anywhere over there.
You'd have to build another lean-to.
And again, how many times you gonna handle that somebody else's mattress? Exactly.
well, to get back to, I forget whose idea it is now, but let's say, oh, Zach's. So let's say, Kevin, we went to 210 for everything except for mattresses, and then we charge 25 or whatever it is for a mattress. What do you think of that idea?
So you're talking about everything that's demo related, right?
Yeah, so anything that would go into the demo container that's
So
not,
210 covers everything for demo, but you're still gonna have a separate charge for Freon stuff because that.
correct.
Oh, yeah,
bill you
yeah.
that way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm comfortable with all the.
Fine, I'm just trying,
Yeah,
I was trying to,
no,
give
no.
these numbers, trying to keep the cost
Yeah. So,
as low as I can.
yeah, so 210, but that would include box springs, sofa couches, stuffed chairs and recliners. And then a separate fee for mattresses.
That kind of sounds good. Just like you go in there and there's a separate fee for tires.
I
So
mean,
you
the
can
mattress
tell,
is
you
big.
can tell the booth that you have a tire, you'll pay for the tire, drive out back, throw it off. And, I know they communicate by radio for when somebody looks like they're getting tricky. So, but that at least you don't have to do like Jim says, and me, you can go around and around and around.
Revisit this.
And can you take a standard weight?
Hold on.
Can you take
I
a
believe.
standard weight and have it deducted if they go to the scale initially? So say they're like, yep, I have 2 mattresses, or do you think that's
Yeah, people that can go over the scale and weigh out their vehicle. And then after they've dumped the demo, weigh it again, and that's what they pay.
But if they go initially and you know what they want, but the only difference, say they have two mattresses.
Well, listen,
Already
like,
cutting it open and stuff in it.
God,
so Zach, what did you figure at $200? What would the cost of a mattress be?
No, so it was a mattress at 100 pounds. So I looked it up, and the mattress roughly on average is 100 pounds. Whether it's queen to like California king, right? There's a difference there, but that's 5% of a ton, right? And so the logic there was if you take a ton, right, and it's 5%, you go up 5% on this 200, it's 210. So now you've absorbed that cost.
So you'd be saving like $10 or $20 versus something else. So
Or you're saving like, like 10, 15. Yeah, that's, yeah. And you're getting, the extra like,
I mean, frankly, if it were me and I had like a trailer full of demolition waste and I had two mattresses on top, I'd just say, just charge me for the whole thing and let me drive through once.
Well, I guess that's the take too, right? So,
The other piece of it.
Cause I'd be comfortable just upping it to 210, and then the obviously refrigeration, tires, propane can be there, but we just lump it into 210, and see kind of how that goes. That way, there's no logistical kind of things happening.
Is that with the mattresses?
I'm okay with it.
And then what would you do with the mattresses?
I would lump the mattresses in personally right now, but I mean, I'm not trying to
We can try.
cause this going on. So
good with that.
if it goes bad, we can always change it. So.
Well, if I find a mattress on the side of the road, I'm gonna get the tag and give it to him. 'Cause every mattress is supposed to have a tag on it. Because if you take it off, it's against the law, right?
how much does DNA analysis cost? I don't know how to make that motion, but moved.
Proposed changes, changing post.
I can say it. So I'll move to approve order 2026-04 updated transfer user fees as under the conditions that we charge the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items all under the $210 a ton uppage, and then we up the Freon tires and propane tanks as is.
Sent it. Second.
Any other discussion? Did we kill that one to dead? So all in favor? All are in favor. Kevin, thanks for coming in. All right, guys, that was great. It's going to item 034, consideration of January 2026 disbursement warrants. It's tabled from February 26, 2026. I'll entertain a motion. We've already basically discussed this one's the,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2026 disbursement warrants as presented.
Second.
okay. Any discussion? All in favor? All are in favor? Thank you, guys. All right. Item 044, consideration of the minutes of February 2nd and February 26, 2026 council
Motion to
meetings.
approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All are in favor? All right. Item 045, consideration of recommendations from the appointments committee.
No appointments at this time.
Thank you. Move on to other business. Public comment. Anybody have a public comment online or in the audience? You guys want to talk about mattresses more? Okay. All right, we'll move on to the manager's report, and I just ask everybody we'll let Anthony talk, and if you have questions, that'll be the time when you get to the point for counselor comment, but let him talk and we'll get through it.
Right. So our next meeting will be 2 weeks from tonight on the 16th. And that's going to be largely devoted to the budget. So we'll have our first budget workshop, which will include the schools. So Dr. Foley will be here to talk about the school budget at that point. We will also receive our audit report from our auditor, and we're feeling pretty confident about what that report is going to say. And then also, so Nick ran an AI analysis of our excise tax collections, and we've determined we can pretty safely budget another $40,000 in excise tax collection. So the information that I sent you, as we sort of come to some new numbers now, we'll refresh those, but we found another $40,000 today for revenue, which is good.
Coaches, is that?
It's a lot of couches. It's a lot of mattresses. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the Chamber of Commerce is going to be here in 2 weeks as well to request $5,000 to help fund the fireworks show. Now, the fireworks show will occur on July 3rd this year. If whatever funds that you might approve would be paid after July 1, so this would be in the next fiscal year. So just clarifying that. Our new website debuts on Thursday, so that's going to be pretty exciting. So I'll send you all a reminder to go check it out. If you haven't already, I sent you the beta link. I sent you this list last week of special amusement things that we've been able to come up with. Interested in your thoughts. Staff's thoughts at this point are the town should abide by the ordinance, but we should waive the fee for town events, because all we'd be doing is moving money from one pocket to another pocket. But ultimately, you guys get to make that decision. So you have differing thoughts from that?
Just don't know how every event at the library, they're going to have to ask us for.
No. The library would be much like the barn at Silver Oaks. Is that?
Just one.
Just one for the year?
The school.
Probably, yes. We'd waive that fee as well. Our recommendation is we would waive that fee.
But they would just have to do one, or is it per event? What if
No. We're not looking, we're not looking to do every choir concert or every halftime performance, just one permit.
Yeah, because it's a general permit, right?
For the organization.
Now, if we have an organization that comes and does one event for the year, like Chamber of Commerce with the fireworks or the Kit and Kerplunk through Pal Shelter, is that something that they would need to apply for?
Interesting thought. My initial thing would be yes, but be my initial thought.
Respond with a couple of other thoughts too.
Oh, yes.
Let's
Do
bring
you remember all of them?
the Grange.
Farmers Market. The art show. The
art show should definitely have one.
The Chamber of Commerce.
Does that mean
Um,
I feel like it's something that's town hosted. It's town
had
being
if we're
hosted. I don't know as it really go through the process. I mean, I guess I understand of having everybody follow the same rules, but if it's town hosted, it's the town supporting it.
Then we're
It's
going
for
to
the
make sure that we're following the rules of the
Right,
noise.
and it's
ordinance
for the
and so forth.
taxpayers. The taxpayers are paying for it. I mean, we can go through the process of saying, yeah, we approve it up here and we're going to waive the fees, yada, yada, yada. But I do understand like some of the other events, maybe we want to make sure everybody's in a line. I'm not trying to collect any more on it, but I do want to make it fair across the board. But I think a town thing's something a little different. So if it's a town presented or driven,
Downtown Revitalization Committee, when they do the s'mores or the bonfire downtown, the tree lighting.
yeah, because I just feel like that was part of what we had in our comprehensive plan, right? We wanted the farmer's market, right? That was a big thing. I mean, here we're now having them come and apply for a permit. I mean,
Jim, you're actually making me reconsider my position.
Well,
Zach, don't tell him. I think I may agree with him.
give me enough time, I'll talk you here.
well, I mean, even like, the ice out plunge.
Yep.
Yeah.
these things. But can't you use your judgment and say what needs to come to us or what might need to come to us?
I haven't,
Like if the school does a weird thing.
I see what you guys are getting at. I don't disagree.
inland fisheries and wildlife for their bass fishing tournaments too, because that was another thing we were talking about. I mean, Watershed Friends does their 5K bass fishing tournaments down on the lakes and everything. They're using our lakes. Do they have to permit to do that? I mean,
Don't own the lake, so.
And then
no, we don't, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but we
But if
don't
it's-
own any of the private property like any of the restaurants or anything like that either.
right.
And they're still having to do it.
Hey, this is y'all's ordinance. Y'all just amended it and approved
It's
it.
cumbersome. As far as the town organized, it's particularly stuff that gets approved through the council. I think it's cumbersome and redundant.
Okay, let's forget I brought it up.
Well, I mean,
Okay,
it-
Let's move on.
What's the purpose of the permit is for enforcement, right? So if it's a tool, if it's something that may require enforcement, or if Paul says, what if this is going to be something that's, then he can come to you and say, hey, can we make them apply for a permit?
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's the best way, I think, to think.
Okay, moving on.
Yep.
The Charter Commission is meeting, a week from tomorrow, on the 10th. Thank you, Andy. And so we've already posted the draft preliminary report online for anyone who's interested. And so if you guys are interested in attending that, that's on the 10th. On the 11th is when the planning board is going to have their first solar discussion, and it's going to be in this room. And in fact, I forwarded you an email today from Dawn sort of detailing all the information about that. Roads have been posted, and for people who in the recent past have raised some concern about the posting of roads, we reached out to them and have communicated and coordinated with them. So that's good.
Question on that. Okay.
And then lastly, just FYI, on the 27th, I'm going to be spending the day up in Bangor at town manager training. So that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Roy?
What did we do on posting Royal Street and
Kevin,
Summer Street? The questions we had last year.
We posted Royal Street, where we had changed it to last year.
Which is like at
Right
the
about
end
where-
of Bonafide Mill.
Yeah, where Mike Blanchard's
Yep.
carpety shop is from there going towards downtown. And then at the end of the mill building over on Summer Street, because their docks, we don't want to interfere with that. Is that it?
Questions.
All right.
Anybody else have a comment? Go ahead. Council comments, yep.
So kind of piggybacking on what I was alluding to earlier is, there's potential that we're going to see a significant rise in fuel costs. Can we start a contingency plan or something for that? So we're not going to get kind of side swiped when it comes budget time for that. So whether.
I'll have to think about how we would address that other than
There's different ways we can do it.
other than setting aside a pot of money just as a contingent. Well,
Might be
I
the
mean,
only thing.
we do have a contingency line item in the budget, and I've tried to, the last 2 years, have that be minimal because I always felt like Aaron, well,
What do we,
the-
do we
the
have
first-
tank storage down? at-
well, wait a second. Let me explain sort of and that gets filled up twice a year. But
Maybe now.
well, we fill it up when it needs to be filled up, but when I first got here, we had a $60,000 contingency line item. And I asked the then finance director why it was so large. And she said, well, just in case, and as a cushion for anything unexpected. And I said, well, that's what the undesignated fund is for. So
Mhm.
let's reduce that down to 10,000. So the undesignated fund is always available, and you guys get to make the decision if we spend from that, if we need to pull money from that in order to cover increased fuel costs.
As we get going in the budget process, we'll know a little more about what's going to happen anyway.
Fill them up. Yeah. That's my point.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay. None, seeing none. So, suggest a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, guys.
Yeah, just